Hi, I'm Elizabeth Ellen Carter. I'm a historical romance author, and it is my pleasure to have with me today Meara Platt, who is also in this fabulous anthology Upon a Midnight Dreary, which is coming out through Dragonblade in October. So thank you very much for speaking to me today. And
Pleasure to be here.
would you like to tell everyone about the anthology and what the anthology is about and what the brief Kathryn gave us was?
Yes, of course. We are doing this anthology. It's a lovely Halloween anthology. All kinds of stories based on ghost stories and the locations where they were made famous in throughout England. And so everybody has a different mansion and a different ghost that they're writing about. Although I chose, because I don't do really scary, I do usually sweet, more romantic. So I based my story in Upon a Midnight Dreary. It's not dreary at all. I based it on the Ghost and Mrs Muir. And for those who don't know the movie, it's just a wonderful romantic story of the sea captain who was killed, but his ghost remains attached to his home. And the young woman who comes in the Ghost and Mrs Muir, she's married, she's a widow, she has a little girl. And of course, the ghost sea captain falls in love with her, and she falls in love with him. But in my story, it will be similar, except my heroine is, she's the daughter of an earl. Her father has passed away, and her brother is now the earl. They're very close. They have a wonderful relationship. She has 3 lovely little nieces, but she has a childhood disease, which is like a rheumatic fever. So she has a weak heart. And she has decided that she doesn't want her little nieces to see her as she ails. So she goes and buys this charming property on the coast of Cornwall. And it is the sea captain's home that she actually bought for a song, because everyone says it's haunted. She doesn't care. So she fell in love with it at first sight, and then the story picks up from her moving in. And now the sea captain, who's been chasing everybody away, decides she's cute. He's not so eager to chase her away. And it's a very charming story. So as the story unfolds, they try to figure out why he's still bound to the cottage, to this lovely home. And as it comes out, I don't know, should I give away the ending or not?
Well, there's got to be a happily ever after, or a happily ever after life.
Yes, that's right. Love knows no bounds. Just because you're dead, that is not a problem that can overcome. So, but yeah, I mean, as it will turn out, is that he's there for a reason, and it's as he's there for her, basically. And and it's touching. So I hope that it's like, it keeps you smiling, but also gives you like a hanky or two, a little tissue or two when it's done. And I loved writing the story. I loved it. I loved my hero, and my heroine is Lady Henley. And so he calls her Lady Hen, and jokes about when she chatters at him sometimes, and he calls it, she clucks like a little hen, but he's madly in love with her. And so it's a charming story. So
that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And it also sort of reminds me that there are a number of different ways of approaching ghost stories that don't necessarily have to be frightening and scary. There was a British TV show in the late 1960s called Randall and Hopkirk, Deceased, and they were 2 detectives, and Hopkirk is killed in pursuit of a suspect, but comes back as a ghost. And the only person who can see him is his former partner. So in the end, the initial setup is the first case that we see going into this is solving the partner's death, but it's done in such a beautifully comedic way, and there's a touch of poignancy too, because the Marty Hopkirk can see his wife, but she can't see him. And there are sort of elements where Hopkirk sort of materializes into a scene and says to his partner, well, I've just listened to so and so there, and they're planning this, and there's this the real expression of what the dynamic between the two detectives would have been in life. So
it sounds great.
like
it's exactly what I would love. Yes.
I will send you a link for that.
Okay, good. Hopefully we can get it in the United States. That would be great.
I'm sure it might be available somewhere.
Everywhere, yes.
So, controversial question. Ghost and Mrs Muir, the film or the TV series?
You know, I love them both, actually. I really love them both, and I watched them both, and they're both, you know, the movie is definitely a favorite of mine, and that show was wonderful. I remember it, and I didn't miss an episode. I really enjoyed it. So having
had a taste of writing a ghost story, do you think this is something you might approach again?
You know, I'm happy to do it. I don't really see it as a full-length series, although I shouldn't say that, because this story is actually going to be an introduction to her three little nieces, the story for her three little nieces. And so the story is called Moonstone Landing, and she's moved into Moonstone Cottage, and the town itself is Moonstone Landing. And she, you know, years down the road, as she passes on, she's going to leave the cottage to her nieces. And their love stories will pick up from there, but there won't be ghosts in the love story, although there will be references to their aunt. And the oldest niece has the same name, spelled differently, but it's the same. She's also going to be Henley, and she'll meet her Duke, and the other sisters will meet their, you know, their romantic heroes as well. And so it will be a lovely, I'm hoping it will be a lovely series set in just beautiful Cornwall and this lovely countryside with a cottage overlooking the water, the ocean, and you can see the dolphins in the harbor, and you have, you know, there's a lot of the quaint stores, and the small enough village that characters all know each other, that also exclusive enough that there will be some fancy, you know, you'll have some of the titled wealthy coming by and living there, and as well to make for good fodder for the stories.
That sounds gorgeous, and I'm looking forward to reading the series. I absolutely love your tales. It's sort of every other chapter. It's sort of, oh, that is so lovely, and when a story at the end just leaves you feeling sort of satisfied, sort of. Yeah, it's a real gift you have.
Yeah, thank you. You know, that's for when I started writing, and especially as I'm writing these, you know, a lot of these regencies now. So I have over 40 stories written as, you know, as Meara Platt, and most of them are the lighthearted romances. I also have the what I call my left brain crazy dragon shifters and stuff. Still Regency, but with the the Dukes are set in the Lake District, and it's beautiful, Bluebell Gardens and lovely lakeside, the lakes and the mountains, and but there's the whole parallel world that resides within that, these realms that are filled with fairies and dragons and all of that. But to get off of that one, but get back to, but most of the stories are the lighthearted Regencies, and to me, it's just, my way was always, I've succeeded if I can leave a reader with a smile on their face and just feeling good, so that no matter what is happening in the real world to them, they can just escape within the story and just keep that grin on their face throughout and close it with oh, that was lovely. Yeah. And that's important to me. That's very important.
And you absolutely, most certainly succeed. Thank you very much. This has been a fabulous, fabulous interview. Don't forget, everyone, Upon a Midnight Dreary, October, it's only 99 cents, which is an absolute bargain for incredible stories from some of your favorite historical romance authors through Dragonblade Publishing. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me, Elizabeth.
Thank you.